Thanks for tuning into the Adam Carolla Show. You can watch the full show on YouTube. Just search Adam Carolla Show and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also get the podcast wherever you like to listen. And for extra content, ad-free episodes, and more, you can head over to our Substack and sign up today.
Adam's on the East Coast at the end of this month. Don't miss shows in New York City at Rodney's, Thursday, January 29th, 7 p.m. with Anthony Scaramucci, and 9:30 with the Ace Man and special guests. Then he joins Megyn Kelly in Chester, New York at the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center on Friday, January 30th, and on Saturday, January 31st, 2 shows at the Trump Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. Tickets for all these shows and more information always available at adamcarolla.com. And now, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on a judgment. Get it on. Mayhem Miller is in studio.
Get it on.
He's going to be doing some news. I got stuff to talk about before that, which is how I roll. All right, let's see. First off, story we didn't get to yesterday, which is guy out of L.A. embezzled $23 million. By the way, he's feeding the kids, taking care of the kids, never doing anything with the kids. Also, always the name. It's called Abundant Blessings, right?
Oh.
So
Dead giveaway.
let me explain how our society has evolved. Okay. There was always something called graft, and there's always such a thing as lying and officials getting paid and kickbacks and paybacks and all that kind of stuff, right? And that was the dominion of Rich Whitey. And every movie I ever saw when someone was ripping off somebody else, it was some red-haired oil executive, fat white guy, smoking a cigar, and he had a pinky ring. And you could see these guys coming from a mile away because they looked the part.
Mustachioed?
Right? Sometimes
balding.
Sometimes balding. They were never waif models. They were never spindly. They didn't look like Gandhi. They were big because they were fat cats.
Well
you know what I mean?
fed.
They were eating at the trough of humanity for way too long. So part of it is you had to physically look full all the time because you're constantly eating while people are going to bed hungry, right?
Pork barrel chested.
That's right. And they had like a nugget gold watch, and they smoked cigars, and they would always kind of come on to their secretary, like they'd push a buzzer on their desk. Anne Marie, you're looking good today. Turn around. Let me get a look at you. Not too bad. And they did a lot of day drinking, but they didn't drink from the bottle that the booze came in. They'd put them in a glass decanter.
A carafe?
Yes. I didn't know what that
decanter.
Word. Decanter. They take this glass bottle. So here's what you do. Let me tell you how I drink. I pour it out of the bottle it came in. I trust.
You're not uncorking a crystalline top.
I trust the Jack Daniel Company and all the other and Stoli and everyone else that bottle their own booze, and then I just dump it right from the bottle. I don't do what they did in the 80s limousine thing where they had that weird glass thing with the weird cork on the top. But anyway.
You're lighting a cigar with a Hyundai?
You do that. You pour all your booze into one of those glass decanters, and then you could come in for a meeting for me at 10:45 in the morning. I'd be like, scotch? Don't mind if I do. You know what I mean? You go, pour yourself a cocktail, and then we call the secretary in again. She turns around again so we can get a look at her. See it, toots. And that's how guys who ripped off people rolled. Now, what they did, too, is they would go in and they'd go, I made the Dakota tribe a lot of promises. I got them to sign over their drilling rights to me, and I've thrown them all off their land, and I sold it to Exxon, and I'm going to come in there, and I'm going to drill, I'm doing some opal mining, and I need uranium, and I'm just going to strip mine the entire, their indigenous land, their heritage. I'm stripping. We're putting a mine in. Because I'm raping the land.
Burial sites be damned.
Be damned. I am raping the land, and I'm getting paid, and I got my fat cat senators in Washington that have got my back, and that's how ripping off people in the government went.
Back in the good old days.
Well, somebody figured out that these guys are too easily spotted now. And it's too easy. And the indigenous people go on social media and they make a lot of noise. And next thing you know, Charlie Sheen's dad is down there and he's chained himself to a bulldozer. And I can't strip the land or rape the land anymore. All right. But at some point, somebody figured out, look, instead of that guy who's from Central Casting is very easy to bust, we instead get women and or people of color or women of color. Heavy set is always nice. And by the way, do not dress up with pinky rings and coming in dressed to the nines. We're going to put you in frocky stuff. We're going to dress you. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to dress you like Michael Moore.
Yeah.
Michael Moore's net worth is $50 million. He makes films, makes stocks. His net worth is $50 million, but he dresses like an unemployed lesbian trucker.
He just dresses, baseball cap and, you know what I mean?
Right. He wears a baseball hat like somebody put it on him. He never wears a regular cap. It's scrunched up.
Worn out.
And it sets on top of his head, and then he schlubs around in a T-shirt and sweatpants, but he's worth $50 million. But he's one of the good guys, and we don't want to go, hey, bitch, you're always talking about millionaires. Aren't you a millionaire, you fat ass? No. But if he wore a pinky ring and a cummerbund
Yves Saint Laurent
and a pocket watch, and we would see him coming and we would complain. So what we figured out is who looks least likely to rip people off, punish the kids, and hurt and the government. And the answer is women, number one. And then, like I said, if we can find Somali, that'll be good. Like we need a group that's been marginalized because they can't rip off the government because they've been marginalized. And then I'll tell you what, let's not make it about drilling rights or mining rights on land. It's all going to be about the kids. It's all going to be about the kids, and then we're going to give everything a euphemistic title. First steps forward for young kids. This marginalized, what do? We help marginalized youth get back to the path of healing. Okay, so now we've given ourselves these euphemistic bullshit happy titles. Our business is about helping kids, feeding kids, and giving kids a helping hand and helping the marginalized and the poor people. And then we rip the government off. And it'll fly under the radar because your people will be in charge of oversight, and they'll just keep cutting you checks. And if somebody ever says, hey, let's look into this guy, then you go, oh, you don't like kids? I'm here for the kids. These kids are marginalized. They're on the spectrum. They have Down syndrome, and they're kids of color who are being pushed to the sides of society, and I've come in to try to help them. And then the person goes, oh, yeah, sorry. All right, here's your check.
In the fight world, we call this pulling guard.
Yes.
You flop down on your back. You're already in a submissive position, but you're very deadly from there.
Right. Fucking heel right in the larynx. All right, so this is the story of the guy. And also, maybe I'll tell my kids, but if you're going to rip people off, don't get a Lamborghini.
I just got a new Bugatti.
Yeah. All right, here's the story.
New at 5, the Department of Justice today announcing the latest arrest by the Homelessness Fraud and Corruption Task Force. The man who was arrested this morning in Westwood is charged with collecting more than $23 million in homelessness funding. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes live on our newsroom with these details, and this is infuriating.
Yeah, Mark, this is one of those cases that just inflames the public. Investigators say millions of dollars of taxpayer money supposed to help the homeless instead helped a Westwood man buy a $7 million home and a lot more. That suspect now facing decades in prison. When voters passed LA's Proposition HHH in 2016 and LA County's Measure H a year later, the plan was to generate billions of dollars to solve the area's skyrocketing homelessness problem. But today, prosecutors say millions of those tax dollars paid for a Range Rover, a 4 seasons vacation to Maui, and a second home in Greece.
People are literally dying, and this guy is out vacationing, buying homes, buying Range Rovers, and going shopping.
Pause it
That's
for
where
a second. What does HHH stand for? I'd be curious what that
Housing and homeless.
Yeah, right. It's something. Right. So, look, people, how do you spend $24 billion on a problem and the problem is worse? The answer is you didn't spend the $24 billion on the problem. It's physically impossible. It's literally like every homeless person would get $180,000 at $24 billion. Now, why Newsom and Mayor Bass and Mayor Garcetti before Mayor Bass and whomever California legislation, why no one ever thought to look into this is the insane part, because we've known we spent $24 billion. It has to be on fraud. It doesn't mean it's all on fraud. It just means a huge portion of it is on fraud. But we'll continue the story here.
Nutritious meals a day. This is what he was providing. Ramen noodles and a microwave. And he was pocketing the rest of the money.
And it's not just the feds Sufer has to worry about. The LA County District Attorney's Office has also charged him with 18 felony counts in connection with defrauding the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority.
Mr. Sufer, when, not if, when we convict him on the state criminal charges, is looking up to 17 years in state prison.
And that's in addition
can you pause
to
it for a second?
case.
I want to say this,
Man,
too.
I'm fired up, man.
Listen, you idiot bureaucrats. Okay, this guy's a criminal. Fine.
Yeah.
You made the soil fertile for him. Prop HHH stands for homeless reduction and prevention. All right, guys. So it's not. It doesn't. It needs an.
It's not even HHH.
All right. So listen. You idiots gave this guy $23 million. We're never going to get that money back. You understand? He can't.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a job. His job is ripping you dodos off. So he's not going to pay that back. But not only all these people that took all this money who are never going to pay it back because they can't pay it back, they're also going to go to prison for 17 years, and then we're going to have to pay $75,000 a year to incarcerate these guys. So not only are they never going to pay back the millions, they're going to take millions to be incarcerated.
Think of the prison jobs they created.
You guys created all this shit by not having any form of oversight. I mean,
Look, man, I've been walking out of here with a highlighter a day for a long time.
Oh, you're stealing.
And finally, somebody called me on it. They're like, you're taking all the highlighters. Mayhem, go buy some highlighters. And I won't name that person, Crystal, that, that's how it works. And now this guy, he's going to go do time. He's going to be a nice bed sore for some other inmate. And, what the hell? We don't get any of that money back. None of them homeless people who are collecting outside in front of my house are going away.
Homeless people and or needy kids are the best people to rip off because they have no platform and they have no voice.
There's a man who stole homeless people's identities and created and murdered them. That's a thing on Dateline. Oh, I'm sorry.
Really?
It popped into my head. Yeah.
Listen, we literally gave checks during COVID to people who were incarcerated. So we have no oversight. So
yeah.
Gavin Newsom is disgusted by all this stuff, but he's in charge of all this stuff. I mean, here's my whole point. The Duke lacrosse guys who were accused of rape, guess what? Coach got fired. Why'd the coach get fired? He wasn't at the party raping the chick who was never raped. But either way, why'd the coach get fired? Because he's the coach. He's not there, but that's his team. And this is Newsom's team. All right, we'll continue the play here.
The feds say Sufer illegally siphoned off at least $10 million of it, money that was supposed to feed the homeless.
Instead of providing 3 nutritious meals a day, this is what he was providing. Ramen noodles and a microwave. And he was pocketing the rest of the money.
And it's not just the feds Sufer has to worry about. The LA County District Attorney's Office has also charged him with 18 felony counts in connection with defrauding the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority.
Mr. sue for when, not if, when we convict him on the state criminal charges is looking up to 17 years in state prison.
And that's in addition to the federal case that can earn him up to 20 years behind bars. Sufer is one of 3 men recently charged in alleged homelessness fraud cases. But even though today's actions point the finger at Sufer, federal prosecutors were also quick to place blame on LASA, the Homeless Services Authority.
I think they've been unable to account for about $2 billion or something like that.
$2 billion.
And that's just in L.A. They just want to keep pushing money out the door, billions after billions of dollars, because I guess it sounds good in a press release.
Now, this afternoon, LASA sent us a written response to that, saying, in the case of Abundant Blessings, we identified issues, investigated and substantiated those concerns, terminated their contracts, and referred them to the proper authorities. We will continue our efforts to monitor provider performance to ensure taxpayer dollars are used to address homelessness as effectively and efficiently as possible.
All right. So listen, it's impossible. And it's impossible because of human nature. You know, when they go, how come for the military a toilet seat is $5,000 and I can go to Home Depot and get one for that? Because that's how human nature works. That's how the system works. My thing is no mas. You got to cut it all off.
Yeah.
Like, you got to feed your own fucking kids. I don't know, daycare, call Nana, have her move out from Kentucky and watch the kids. That's on you. All these programs, it's always waste. It's all waste all the time.
But I feel like it's possible to catch it before this dude gets 23 million, 16 million. They had 3 guys up there with a combined net worth, you know what I mean, 50, 60, 80 million. So how do you catch it before that? They caught me taking the highlighter. Eventually, you start to add up who's got the highlighter. But now, you know, I don't know. It's just everybody's paid to look the other way.
The system, okay. Well, sometimes it's the system. In Minnesota's case, Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Puss is the Somalis are his that's his constituency.
Well, I'll tell you, here in California, I have the unfortunate adventure to go into one of these homeless places, live there.
How long?
6 months at least. I had to do the terms of my probation. You know, you have to go to a halfway house when you come out of prison, and you have to show the world that you're like a normal person again. And some of those guys were not normal. But I did notice that all the staff that worked there had a brand new Dodge Charger. Or like a cool car with rims and and I was like, whoa, I need to get into this business. I'll immediately have a sweet car, and all I got to do is yell at this crazy homeless guy. Yeah. I felt like I was going to get into that industry if this one didn't just drag me back in.
Hims. Man, it sucks when your hair starts getting thin. I've watched a lot of dudes go through it. Hims makes it really simple to feel like your old self. They've got a range of prescription meds, including chews, oral medications, serums, and sprays. Doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil can stop further hair loss and regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. It's super convenient with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Their website is the digital front door that gets you back to your old self. Right, Dawson?
For simple online access to personalized and affordable care for hair loss, ED, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/Adam. That's hims.com/Adam for your free online visit. hims.com/Adam. Featured products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information. Individual results may vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride.
Homes.com. Well, some might say Homes.com is the best home shopping site. It may be. Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory, or maybe it's at Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home the best. Perhaps is because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. I'd say it's all of the above. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. So if you're looking, or you're just doing it like a hobby, like I'll do sometimes, Homes.com is where you go. Homes.com. We've done your homework. Anytime there's invisible money flying around, invisible money, not your own money. Listen, I was married to a woman who just spent money. She didn't care. She didn't know. She didn't care. The point is, it wasn't her money.
Yeah.
She didn't go on
It's
the
just a
road,
number.
and it was just a number. It's just invisible. Just call Grub. Use your app. Get Grubhub to bring dinner over. Like, didn't know, didn't care.
Got it.
If you are the custodian over it, it is a very, very rare person that it's not their money, but they treat it like it's their money. It's an impossible situation, and it's always gonna lead to this. And then what you're gonna have is you're gonna have a bullet train that's $25 billion over cost, and we're already $20 billion in the hole, and we have no bullet train. And who really cares? Like, whose money is it? Like, imagine if that bullet train is your kitchen remod.
No, I've been imagining it for years because I'm in the fight business. They said that, they're going to have one up to San Francisco. Oh, cool, I can train up there. Oh, cool, they're going to have one to, I've been here the whole time, Ace.
Right.
Like, somewhere in California is close to my heart. So I noticed it never happened. So they
it's never
going to
happen.
money.
Oh, there's a clip, Andrew, I liked. It reminded me. It was Nithya Dingbat Raman, who was one of the biggest dingbats in our city council. But they did a whole speech about they're going to build, I don't know if you know this, but they're going to build a train that goes from the valley through the Sepulveda Pass to the west side. Now, there's a couple of things that were funny. Ed Begley Jr., famous actor who's also a conservationist, who rides his bike everywhere. I mean, that guy walks the walk and talks the talk. I've been to his house. I mean, he's got recycled everything, gray water, this, holding tank for irrigation. I mean, Ed Begley Jr. is the guy who lives it. Al Gore is the guy who gets paid off it, but he's got a bunch of mansions and flies private. Ed Begley rides his 10-speed everywhere in Los Angeles. And Ed's standing there, and God love Ed. He's the nicest guy in the world. But because he's the guy, he's standing behind this news conference of city council people who are talking about how great it's going to be to build this train through the Sepulveda Pass, the 405. It's what gets you from the valley to the west side, and it has tons of traffic on it. Now, I'm looking at the press conference, and I'm like, well, Ed Begley Jr., God bless you, but you're 76 years old. You're going to be dead before the first piece of track is laid, if it's ever laid at all. Number one, I love Ed Begley Jr. Ed, you're going to be in the ground before anyone travels 1 foot on this fucking fantasy train. That's never going to happen. All right, that's number one. Number two, I'll play you the clip, but it's funny because here's what I'm speaking about, people. Here's what I want to say. And this is the chick think era we're in that nobody really fully can wrap their mind around and think I'm a misogynist. They sit around and dream. They dream big. They got all kinds of plans. And wouldn't this be great? And so what they do is they go, the average Los Angelino wastes 59 hours a year sitting in traffic. We're going to do this train, and that time will then be spent with their children instead of sitting in traffic. And then they go, my work is done. And they go home, and it never gets built because they can't, because they don't know how to build anything. They don't know what they're doing. Trump, remember, commercial building, commercial builder. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Let's go, go, go. Build, build, build. These bitches don't do anything. They have conversations about everything, and nothing ever gets built. And the more of these bitches you have in your city council, the less you're ever going to get done. And that's what we experience in L.A. But here we go. Sorry, we'll play the clip.
This Sepulveda Transit Corridor project has been an aspiration and the intention of the region since at least 1980, when Prop A maps showed a Silmar.
Okay, first of all. All right, they get out of the gate going, since 1980, we've been talking about this. Last I checked, that's 46 years ago. I love the artist rendition. Yeah. You know what we're going to have to do with L.A.? Let's just get rid of L.A. and do an artist rendition of L.A.
I think Pam from The Office drew that.
They have, this is what it's going to look like. Happy people on this monorail going from west to east. No, never going to happen. It's never going to.
It looks so epic in that 80s photo.
All right, I'll play it out, and then I'll tell you about a little lady named Helen Gorog. Who's Helen Gorog? Well, that's Adam Carolla's grandma, everybody. Here we go.
The project has been an aspiration and the intention of the region since at least 1980, when Prop A maps showed a Silmar to Long Beach alignment. Mm-hmm. The desire to create a Valley to West Side connection was reiterated in Measure R in 2008, and then again in 2016 with Measure M.
Never gonna happen.
Every weekday, we see over 400,000 vehicle trips through the Sepulveda Pass.
What?
The San Fernando Valley commuters lose 59 hours every year to traffic.
And what could they be doing those 59 extra hours they get back after they build the monorail? Drinking, beating the elderly? What could they be doing? Let's see. Go ahead.
Fernando Valley commuters lose 59 hours every year to traffic delays just from their evening home between Wilshire and Ventura Boulevard. That's a work week and a half of time that parents lose with their children. Today,
kids.
we have a solution.
Okay, here we go.
Currently, only 2% of people who make their way through the pass every day do so using public transportation. Mm-hmm. What we have before us is the potential to take more than a quarter of those 400,000 daily commuters out of their cars, off the 405,
starting in the
and onto
NBA,
public
but
transit.
Never gonna happen.
More people choosing to use transit instead of personal vehicles creates a commuting culture, a culture of ridership, and brings along all of the social and economic benefits that come with it. And there have been thousands of community voices who have informed this project over the years, and representing the 3rd District means this project serves most of the communities that I represent. So I want to thank everyone who has engaged us. Your input gave us all the opportunity to make this project better, and I see so many of your thoughts, perspectives, challenges, hopes, and dreams
they got
reflected in the
an
recommendation
ethnic
before
mural.
us.
That's good.
Yeah, I wasn't buying it with the piano music, but then they showed 12 ironworkers and totally got me on their side. I'm ready, Lindsay.
Lindsay Horvath, who's not going to do any of this shit and will never pull it off. But she's happy about it. That's not the clip I was talking about, but that one is one of them, and it's good. The one is the aforementioned Ed Begley Jr. standing in the back, and it's
he was there.
Nithya Raman. Oh, did I miss him? Oh, was I looking down for Ed? This is another clip. There's a clip of Ed. There's a clip of Ed Begley Jr. Oh, yeah. No, this is Nithya Raman doing a speech, and he's in the back. It's the same subject. Okay. So what is this? This is Chick Think. This is a bunch of women dreaming of a world where we have world class, like we're Japan. We got a bullet train. You've been on the bullet train in Japan, right?
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, you're flying 240 miles. It doesn't really seem like it because you're just floating through, but then you look out and when the grass is close, it's flying by. Yeah.
Right. And here it is, by the way. Here's by the way, Nithya Raman, who went to Harvard, who is a dingbat. She is the one who was angry at Toyota for making their catalytic converters too easy to steal. She's also the one who snapped into action and pulled down the no U-turn signs and no cruising signs in West LA so gay guys could have sex on people's lawns.
And I know.
So, and then turn around and then cruise again and nail some other guy in the keister. So that for the homeowners there, it's real important because you want that. You want condoms in your shrub. But she also is in the district of the one who tore down the tree house that all the kids loved in the neighborhood because they didn't have a permit. So
she's just coming with banger after banger.
She's hard at work. So let's listen to her.
One who has ever tried to cross the Sepulveda Pass at rush hour knows the feeling that I just had coming here this morning. The brake lights, the slow crawl, the sense that no matter how early you leave, you're still late. That is life on the 405 right now. So if we are serious about resolving congestion, we need a true alternative to sitting in your car on the 405. That is the Sepulveda Transit Corridor.
All right, pause it. Now, here's the thing, nutbag. I'll tell you who could do this. Rick Caruso, commercial developer, could do it. Donald Trump, commercial developer, could do it. Elon Musk could do it, but you don't like any of those guys. You got a whole band of dingbats who you want to do this, and they can't do it because they don't have any experience doing it. Elon would knock this shit out on a weekday. This would be a Trump project, and Rick Caruso certainly could do it, but we didn't elect Rick Caruso. We elected Karen Bass, who goes to Ghana and went in between stops at Cuba and dances in ceremonial garb. These bitches can't do anything, and neither can you guys. But the thing is I don't know that they don't know they can't do stuff. This is never going to happen, ever. But go ahead, play it on. Let's hear what Nithya, and why she took time out from ripping down citizens' tree houses to make this speech. Interesting.
And that's what Metro Board is going to be voting on, the Sepulveda Transit Corridor project, which is expected to ease one of the worst traffic trouble spots in L.A. Now, according to one traffic study, 400,000 commuters drive between the Valley and the West Side on the 405 freeway every single day. The hope is that this new rail line will ease traffic congestion by 100,000 commuters per day.
Not going to happen.
San Fernando Valley commuters lose.
All right. Yes, we know all the bad part. Then there's the good part where you build a railroad, except for it's never going to happen.
Even if you build that railroad, what the hell? You just get to the other
it's
side.
It's going to be homeless guys shooting up junk the whole time. Look, let me tell you the story of Helen Gorog. Okay? Helen Gorog. Helen Gorog is my grandmother. She married a guy named Laszlo Gorog, and I don't really even know her maiden name. Maybe it was McCall or something. She's my mom's mom, although my mom didn't like her, and she didn't like my mom. So that was pleasant, growing up and whatnot. My mom didn't like her so much she called her Helen, like Bart Simpson calls Homer Homer.
Wow.
She didn't call her mom.
Yeah.
That's always weird to me. But anyway, that's where I come from. Helen Gorog lived in North Hollywood, California. By the way, home's still there. Mom's gone. Dad's gone. Stepdad's living in Helen's house. He's got his new lady friend in grandma's house. You understand? My mom went from grandma's broken down house to grandma's better house and then died now.
Oh.
Got my stepdad. He earned it. He deserves it. So he's living there now. Now, that house is in North Hollywood. My grandmother worked at the VA her entire adult life, the Veterans Administration, which is ironic because she hated this country and she hated veterans. She hates this country and she hates the Army, but she took the money from the Veterans Administration her entire adult life, which,
no hypocrisy.
Nothing. No, that's awesome. So, meaning anyone will do anything for money. All right. She didn't get rich. She had like a medium level job at the VA. The VA and North Hollywood are basically that stretch of the 405. She's in Westwood at the VA. That's literally right off the 405 on Wilshire. And she lived in North Hollywood, which is right on the other side. So literally her commute was that pass, that Sepulveda pass, every single day. That poor woman. And they had ride-sharing commute stuff. Like the VA probably couldn't implement it if you had a small business, but if you are the VA, they can mandate that you carpool.
Yeah.
And my grandmother had to carpool with a dude who drove a custom pickup truck. So my grandmother hated all American, anything American, hated everything American. She hated, Clint Eastwood. And she
But you said McCall, so she's an American.
She's very American. She's
But
literally...
Laszlo Gorog turned into communism?
No.
Oh, all right.
No. Hating her dad
I got it.
turned her into communism. Right, because her dad was a cement contractor who liked hunting and fishing and was a dude and was probably like a fifth generation. I mean, this guy grew up in Los Angeles in the teens, in the turn of the century.
Wow.
Like, he was here, white dude here in Los Angeles, you know, when California was founded.
Yeah.
You know, like they had missions, you know. So she hated her father, and her father became the man. And then that becomes the country,
Got
and that
it.
becomes Uncle Sam, and now becomes
I
Donald.
see it.
And now Donald Trump is all the crazy bitches have Trump derangement syndrome, hate their dads. They don't even know. They don't really know what Trump's doing. They just know they hate their dad, and so they hate Trump. And she hated this country. She hated, like, my grandmother hated, let's say, John Wayne the most out of
Really?
anybody.
So
Right,
iconic
but,
TV hero.
stood for this country and the West and everything. And she would have been over the moon about Mamdani. She would have loved that. She would be miserable that Trump was president. She would love Gavin Newsom. She loved all the fucking loser socialist idiots, right? So she had to do a ride share with a dude who liked country music and drove a pickup truck and was miserable about it. And this dude would show up every day at 7:05 and pick her up in his mini Chevy Love customized pickup truck with Hank Williams playing. And my fucking grandmother, who loved everything Europe, she married a Hungarian guy because he's European.
She had this romantic notion.
She was driving. She's the only person in North Hollywood in 1962 who was driving a Peugeot automobile. Not because it was a good car, it was a piece of shit, and not that you could get parts for it or get it repaired back then, but it was European. She wasn't going to be driving a Chevy anywhere, right? So my grandmother lamented her crazy commute every single day from her little shitty house in North Hollywood through the Sepulveda Pass, 405, and into the VA, and then they would knock off at like 5 o'clock. She'd get back in this pickup truck and sit in traffic. We're talking about 1972 here, everybody. Like, we're not going back 18 years. We're going back 60, 70 years. My grandmother probably started at the VA 55, 57, 60. She sat in that goddamn traffic until she retired in like 2002 or 3 or something like that. Like, she literally spent 40 years in that stupid traffic. This has been a problem for a very long time. We just spent $24 billion on homelessness. I know not where the money went. Seems like we could have got a monorail for that cost. Also, does anybody who goes, hey, we're going to build a train from Bakersfield to Merced, does anyone raise their hand and go, does anyone know anyone who's ever went from Bakersfield to Merced? No. Okay. Does anyone know anyone who's been stuck on the 405 on traffic? Yes, me today. Okay, how about we do that project and then we'll do the Bakersfield thing, which is never going to fucking happen. And it won't happen. It can't happen because these people can't pull it off. Do they want to do it? Maybe. Do they have the skill set to do it? Abso-fucking-lutely not. They have no ability to do this. And they don't realize what that experience is. You could give this problem to Elon Musk and he would do it. But you yentas who went to Ivy League schools and who sit around and pontificate about things all day and never fucking do anything, you guys can't do it. You can't. You don't have a mayor that can do it. You don't have a governor that can do it. These people don't create anything. Maybe I'm sensitive about it because I'm a builder, and people, if you don't have the ability to do it, you don't have it. You don't have. I can't play the harp because I've never played the harp. You could put me in front of it. You could show me sheet music. I can't do it. I don't have any experience with it. these dumb shits in the city council don't come from anywhere. There's no like, whoa, we had a big construction outfit that my family ran for 50 years. No, there's none of that.
Yeah.
You don't do anything.
I figured we could have like one lesbian with the hard hat out there somewhere who knows how to get stuff done, but we don't. It hasn't. She has not surfaced. She has not pulled the sledgehammer from the stone.
No. So there is none of that. King Arthur. None of that will happen. So we can have one of these pressers where we're talking about wanting something, and we can have a presser where we talk about no kid goes to bed hungry and everyone gets world-class health care, and you dream of a world where the homeless people have their own homes and stuff. You can do all you want.
Hey, if you give me $23 million, hey, I'll figure out how to get the homeless to Bakersfield and Merced and stay there.
You could, well, first off,
I was just saying, bring drugs there. $24 billion worth of dope. Everybody will be in America will be at my party.
Sorry, they have some sort of fantasy utopia that always involves mass transit and never works. It never works. And if they ever do it, it's just going to be junkies camping
new
out.
Place for the homeless to sleep. My bullet train.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Do we have the news? And I'm going to ask Andrew for a little clarity on his time. Put it on my screen. I'm not sure exactly how this works, but let's get to some news, Mayhem.
All right, no break. Right into it. Here we go.
O'Reilly. Yeah. Auto parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. That's the business that keeps your car on the road, man. They offer friendly, helpful service and all the knowledge you need. If you can't figure out why your car ain't running right, and sometimes I can't figure it out, always first stop, O'Reilly Auto Parts. They always know what's going on. They have thousands of parts in stock and can test your battery for free. Need wipers, a brake light, a quick fix? They'll get you the right part. Everyone who works there is knowledgeable and friendly. The professional parts people at O'Reilly are your one-stop shop for DIY auto stuff. You can do it in person or you can do it online. Am I right, Dawson?
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
Well, do you love stories of myth and legend? Good, listen up. Before Camelot and The Crown, the Pendragon cycle, Rise of the Merlin, tells the origin story. Watch a legend that shaped Britain in a 7-episode cinematic epic. This isn't a retelling of the King Arthur story. This is the rise of the world that made Arthur possible. The Pendragon cycle, Rise of the Merlin, streaming now on Daily Wire Plus. Shot across multiple international locations and years in the making. This brings myth to life. It has amazing production value, full-scale battles, and a sweeping original orchestral score. At its core, this is a return to classic epic storytelling. A story where faith, prophecy, and sacrifice truly matter. Stream the Pendragon cycle, Rise of the Merlin, now only on Daily Wire Plus.
It's last call for San Francisco's government hooch. A COVID-era program that guzzled $5 million of taxpayer money annually to serve booze to the homeless alcoholics will finally shutter this year.
Could I be... Let me tell you what I want to do. Can I tell you what I want to do? I want a job to be the arbiter and gatekeeper of bad ideas. Okay?
I thought you were going to say shot girl for the homeless.
I'm going to take my bit that some people saw in my vlog, which is it's not going to work, and just take it worldwide. I'm just going to walk into the San Francisco City Council meetings and they go, all right, we got a plan. It's called judgment-free injection sites. We give out, now hear me out, we give out syringes to the junk, and I'll just go, not going to work. Not going to work. What's next? And I'll go into UPS and they'll go, we have a campaign called What Can Brown Do For You? Okay, not going to work. Not going to work. What's the next idea? What else we got? We're giving out Jägermeister shots to alcoholics who pee in the park. Okay, not going to work. Not going to work. What's next? We'd like to defund the police. Okay, nope, not going to work. Not going to work. We don't want a border wall because walls don't keep out. They don't keep people out. They keep people, okay? Not going to work. We're going to have a border wall. Give me the next.
Are you jumping
idea.
out in these? Are you breaking through walls and saying not going to work?
I show up in every planned meeting.
Oh, out of the frame. I
would do that. I would have showed up in the middle of that press conference in front of Nithya Raman and just stepped in front of Ed.
Bop.
Ed, how you doing? Looking good. I think someone stole your 10-speed, by the way. Anyway, this monorail, not going to work. Not going to work. What's next?
You're like the Dikami Mutombo of this.
Mutombo. Yeah, no. What's his first name?
Dikami. Yeah.
His name's Dikami.
Dikembe Mutombo, but it's now Dikame Mutombo forever.
Dikembo. Yeah, Dikami. All right, so not going to work, everybody. It's not going to work.
Yeah, look, there's a new mayor in San Francisco, and he's trying to clean that all up. He's getting rid of that program. He's getting rid of a lot of the other programs, and he vows if you do drugs on our streets, you will be arrested, and instead of sending you back out into crisis, we will give you a chance to stabilize and enter recovery. So he's offering a hand up for these poor guys. But yeah, they paid $55 men, it's ridiculous. Ace, listen, 55 clients amounting to $454,000 bar tab per. So they spent I wonder who got a charger on that one.
Listen.
You know what I mean? I'm in the wrong business, Ace.
Listen, here's the deal. Everybody, with the government, please understand. There is a super cuts and a sports cuts and a sports clips and American clips and a super clip and a sport clip and a now clip and a then clip. And they're all within 7 miles of each other. And so I can get a haircut for $22, no problemo, at any of these places all the time. If you get rid of all of them and you just have one government-run haircutting place, it's going to be $500 per haircut. And you're going to go, what? That doesn't make sense. It's like when they go, we're going to build homes, miniature homes for the homeless. The miniature homes for the homeless are 250 square feet, and they're $785,000 a unit, and you can buy a ranch house outside of Nashville for that because we left it up to the government, everybody. And yeah, you can go to the airport and get a Budweiser, and for $3 more, you can get a shot of Jack Daniels. But if the government's in charge, then each drink is $141. And that's how it works because it has to, because we're humans and it's going to work that way. And there's nothing we're going to do about it.
You can't see any way to fix it. I can think of AI, techno robot, making sure that everybody does everything right. And, tattletale on everything. I can see a future like that. Because there's no way to hide it if it's completely transparent.
What'll fix it is not having the program in the first place. That'll work for about 90% of that.
But look, sweeping the guys off the street only works temporarily because they come back in. You have to eliminate that behavior.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And get those guys into something that works. So they cannot just live like this.
They have to be moved against their will.
Yeah, there has to be, exactly. But they have to be pushed into that safety of, here, get cleaned up, and then you can start your life over again.
Yes, but they have to do that. They can't live on the street. Criminalize vagrancies. Right? All right, what else do we got?
All right, next up, wealthy elites are shelling out as much as $500,000 to rent California mega mansions ahead of the Super Bowl 60 next month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, big money, big money. Homes that normally rent for tens of thousands a month are going for $10,000 to $15,000 a night during Super Bowl week.
Remember during COVID, people were throwing house parties and rented houses, and then the government was getting all weird, saying we're going to cut the electricity off.
I started a martial arts business in my plaza, and it was very successful until the cops shut it down.
Really?
Yes.
In your plaza?
Yes, in my plaza. I had a bunch of students come, hit pads.
You have a plaza?
Well, this is back, I lived in an apartment complex, luxury apartments, and I was out there barefoot kickboxing. I said, what is the problem with everybody? Why is everyone acting so strange? I didn't really watch the news back then.
and they shut it
The
down.
cops shut it off. Yeah, I had my big bodybuilder buddy getting some good pad work. I remember he was kicking hard. I was very impressed, and it was a great show. I'm telling you. And then cops showed up, hand on the butt of his weapon, and talking about, hey, you need to stop. And then suddenly my Google reviews went down.
I had a friend who was. It's funny. It drove everyone underground. I had a friend who was a hairstylist, and she just started seeing all her clients in the garage. So her salon got shut down. But
it was
she
like
just
a speakeasy. Like you had to touch your nose to supercuts.
Yeah. There's a great clip, Andrew, which is great because you can't hate the ladies from The View enough. But there was one woman, and I love when they turn on their own. The ladies from The View were their brain had rotted so much from COVID, and they bought into all of it, and they were whatever the Democrats.
You gotta admit, we all a bit rotted from COVID. Come on, it put think about what it did to the culture. It just completely put a rot in the entirety of America's brain.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And there was a story of a woman, I think in Texas, who has a business, who owned a salon. And she said, I'm keeping my business open, and we're doing the safe distancing and the masking and everything. And all the women from The View attacked her, which is great because, lady, this is a female small business owner who you're supposed to support, but you guys suck up to the government so much and do all the bidding and believe all the propaganda from the government that you're now fighting against a female small business owner.
Well, quick question: person of color?
No, that would have helped. That would have helped. And the thing that was great, I'll say this about COVID: all the people who told you it was deadly are now all the people complaining about ICE. None of them died. How is it possible that Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon and all the assholes that were lying, Sanjay Gupta, all those people, how is it possible that not one of them died of COVID, telling you every night how dangerous COVID was? And these are now the same people that are explaining that jackbooted thugs with ICE badges are going to kick open doors, grab Americans, and disappear them in Honduras. And it could happen to any of us, right? They'll go, could happen to any one of us. It'll never happen to you. How come? Shouldn't there be one of you? One of you should have died of COVID, and one of you should have been grabbed by jackbooted thugs and taken to Honduras and disappeared. One of you. Statistically, there's 200,000 you assholes saying this every single night. One of you should have been claimed by COVID. One of you should be taken by Trump's thugs and disappeared statistically. And you always say it could happen to me. Could be me. Could be you. Could be me. But it's never you. And it never happens. So pardon me if I'm a little bit dubious.
Yeah, and if Anderson Cooper overstays his visa, he's fucking out of here.
I'll tell you when I'm going to believe something that Anderson Cooper says. When he dies of COVID and then they take his corpse and they disappear it to Honduras with the government thugs. Then I'll go, you know what? Maybe he wasn't lying the entire time. But it'll never happen. And it never did happen. Can you think of a person who told you were going to die of COVID who died of COVID?
We'll see when he's buried in Managua.
Mm-hmm. All right. What's the next story? And that clip is somewhere, although maybe the View ladies aren't excited about the
Well, here's another clip for you. Good old Bill Maher is saying to the Dems, tell celebrities just to shut the fuck up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Oh, wait, we have our View.
Oh, we have the View clip. Never mind.
Sorry about that. Then we'll do Bill Maher. I'm going to do his show, Club Random, in a couple days, by the way. All right, here we go.
Welcome. Megan.
Thank you, Whoopi. Good morning.
Hello, Shelley. Thank you so much for coming on. Texas had been under stay-at-home orders since March 22nd, but on April 24th, you defied those orders and reopened your salon for business. We heard a snippet of your story in that clip that we just played, but can you please explain to everyone watching why you decided to reopen your salon?
Well, there were several reasons. I mean, obviously, we were all in a panic when this broke out and the virus was spreading. And Of course, we were willing to shut down she
got
2
jailed.
weeks, even 3 weeks. But when the government help was not coming and no one was really even replying to any SBA loans that we were applying for, unemployment in Texas, you couldn't get through. The website was crashing. My hairstylists were telling me, look, I'm about to go to people's houses to do hair because I just don't have any money. I decided to open because it's not safe for them, obviously, to be going to people's houses for them or their clients. And I just felt like if I opened, I could create a sterile environment and make it at least a lot safer and follow CDC guidelines and regulations. And I really just didn't want to be the reason why they weren't making money.
Right. And they say you could have avoided jail time if you had apologized to the judge.
This old fat whoopee.
There's anybody that you should apologize to outside of the judge, like, the folks that are working so hard on the front line, folks like that? Do they, is it something you would have done for them as opposed to just saying?
First off, all right. Let's put Whoopi Goldberg being a world-class dingbat aside for a second. How about being on a show where you talk for an hour every day, but you can't form a thought or a sentence? Wouldn't you say part of her job would be not to go, what about others people's who you may have owed as a pathology to, who may have not when's that Ozempic going to kick in? But also the front workers who are of the community. Who is Meredith Vieira still on the show? Jesus Christ, bitch! Let's listen to Whoopi. Whoopi's, by the way, Whoopi's got an earpiece. It's like, you're first up, Whoopi. You have the first question. Go ahead, Whoopi. Ask her question. Now, yeah, remember the heroes, the nurses, and the doctors who bang the pots and pans every day at 5 o'clock? Remember that? Okay, so here she wants to know, what about putting them in danger?
That you
here we go.
Should apologize to outside of the judge, like, the folks that are working so hard on the front line, folks like that. Do they, is it something you would have done for them as opposed to just saying to part of the government that wouldn't open up?
I have no idea what her question was.
What? I don't know what she said at all. Opioid Whoopi is the best Whoopi.
Run her question in its total. I want to see it. I have no idea what she's
follow
asking.
CDC guidelines and regulations, and I really just didn't want to be the reason why they weren't making money.
Right, and they say you could have avoided jail time if you had apologized to the judge. Do you think there's anybody that you should apologize to outside of the judge, like, the folks that are working so hard on the front line, folks like that? Do they, is it something you would have done for them as opposed to just saying to part of the government that wouldn't open up?
That's a good question.
That's not a good question. I don't know. I don't even know that it's a question. What is, all right, is there any more? She must be getting she'll get browbeat by the rest of the View checks.
There's 4 minutes left.
I know, but I mean, let's just go to the next View question. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Because they got a question. Oh, okay. Now we got what's her name? We got Sunny.
Shelley, we do know that so many Americans are facing financial hardship because of this pandemic.
Yeah, because the government shut it down.
But you applied for small business loans and unemployment, and you did receive some aid from the government. You received $18,000 from the government. So I understand why people feel so strongly about going back to work, because they feel that the government isn't doing its job and taking care of people. But in this instance, 2 days before you went to court, the money went into your account. So I'm troubled by that.
Yeah, I can see why you would be troubled.
All right. She makes $18,000 a break, Sunny Hostin does. But either way, by the way, everyone changed their look on this show a lot in a short period of time. The ladies from The View were angry at a woman who employs other women and has a small business that she's trying to run. And that was now what they should do is they should apologize to her for being wrong about everything and taking the government's side, but they're never going to do that. All right, Mayhem, let's do one more story. We don't have that clip.
We don't have Bill Maher then.
We don't have the clip.
Well,
we have
just
the
know
quote.
that Bill Maher is like out there. Yeah, he's getting it with.
What's the quote?
The quote is like, they need to go to the center. That was his. He's just saying.
Well, he has a quote somewhere, right?
Yeah. The celebrities, man. He said, you don't strike people in most of the country as sensible or in touch with reality. That's the main, crux of it, is that celebrities are kind of seeming out of touch.
There are. They can be baited into getting on board with any. Look, here's the thing about celebrities. Celebrities need to be employed, and it's not like working for Chevron. You need a new job every 6 months, and you need a new job. Let's just put it to you. Let's put it to you this way. Let's just say it's not celebrity. Let's just say you work as, let's just say any trade, roofer, plumber, electrician. All right. So you just work. You know what? Let's put it to you this way. Let's do your job.
All right.
And my former job, your trainer.
Yeah.
Works at martial arts trainer. You go. Okay. So now, here are the rules. Every 4 to 6 months, you're done. You need a new job, right? And anybody can do your job. Your experience and your whatever, it's fine, but you can be replaced by anybody at any time, and almost anyone can do your job. And there's tons of mixed martial arts trainers that are waiting in line trying to get that job.
It's kind of true. It is true. I have fighters, and you have to focus on them. You get a new job every 4 months,
Right, but you're good at what you do, and you have history. In acting, there are a million people looking for every role, and almost anyone can do it. There's a handful of guys and girls at the top who aren't interchangeable, but everybody below them is. So now, with that in mind, Mayhem, we are auditioning fighters, trainers all the time. Now, some subject like COVID comes up, or some subject like Israel comes up, or some subject like Donald Trump comes up, or ICE comes up. And remember, you better figure out where these people are on these subjects. Because if you're in love, you love some Donald Trump, and I hate Donald Trump, and I see 1,000 guys, and you're auditioning, you ain't getting the job. And guess who figures that out real fast? All the people that are auditioning. So that's why they all end up in the same place. Here's how we feel about Trump. Here's how we feel about COVID. Think about the wild coincidence that was, quote, COVID. Every single one of you guys landed in the exact same place in Hollywood. Get the vaccine, ivermectin is horse paste, listen to the government, shut everything down, and don't listen to Joe Rogan or anyone who's been deplatformed. How is it that you all landed in the exact same place? In a world of opinions, Super Bowl's coming up. You're going to have celebrities that are pulling for New England. You're going to have celebrities that are pulling for Seattle. But in a world where they all land in the exact same place with COVID. Everyone.
Look, I'll just say I got my jab this morning. I feel good. Yeah, I'm like COVID Zeta. Yeah.
No, you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You got a COVID
Yeah,
jab?
COVID Zeta. Yeah, it's the last one that they're doing. Yeah, so I got it at CVS. Come on.
You did that.
For free.
How is it that not one celebrity raised their hand and went, I don't think these masks work. I think it's a good idea. This seems stupid. Like, how come one of them didn't question a mask, a paper towel over your mouth? How come one of them? You want to know why? They need a job. They need a job.
I liked wearing the mask, bro. I walked into every convenience store like I was going to rob the joint, man.
All right. They need a job, so they have to suck up, and they have to say the same thing about everything. How Remember the Me Too thing and Believe All Women? Those are the guys who invented the casting couch that immediately put the lapel patch on and got right down with everything immediately. Immediately, and they invented banging vulnerable women. That guys in the coal mining industry didn't invent that practice. That was Hollywood that invented that. They pioneered the casting couch. Couches used to just be called couches and sofas. But there was no such thing as a casting couch until Hollywood came along and invented the casting couch. You understand? And those are the people that were most on board with this movement. That is so full of shit. The most lecherous sacks of duplicitous shit on the planet. They want a job, and they can't get the job. I was a good carpenter. I could say whatever I wanted because you always need a good carpenter, and there weren't that many of them. You're good boxing and striking and MMA practitioner and trainer, you will be employed. That's how it works. But if there's a million carpenters and they're all good and they're all interchangeable, then I better figure out what the guy's politics are who is doing the hiring so I can get on that crew. And that's how Hollywood lands on the same page with everything all the time. Because you go, well, ICE, Trump, border, Israel, Palestine, COVID, ivermectin. That seems like a very diverse group of subjects. No, we're lockstep on every single one of them. It's mathematically impossible. It's impossible. And anybody who works in an honest trade, you'll have guys that are like, that guy's not into COVID. That guy's a double masker. That guy's getting the vaccine. That guy swears he's not going to let anyone. You get diversity as you would. This bullshit of everyone landing on the same page is how you know it's bullshit, because it's mathematically impossible. All right.
They're all on the same Reddit thread.
That's right.
Hey, last story. Kanye West apologizes for reckless anti-Semitism in a full Wall Street Journal ad. I am not a Nazi, he says.
Wow.
Hey, this was a heartfelt letter, maybe touched up by his lawyer, but he apologizes for being not a Nazi. He apologizes for being anti-Semitic. He, really extends olive branch to the entire world because he had a bipolar breakdown and says 4 months of his life were just spent in a mania, just acting crazy, producing Nazi T-shirts, making money off that and kind of harboring anger towards everybody. Yeah, here's the entire statement, but it is so it's in 120.
Listen, I have a lot of Jewish friends. I love the Jewish community. Laszlo Gorog was a Jew. And I don't like anything he said in terms of Kanye about Jews. But all is forgiven by how he dresses his girlfriend. Okay? And as a Jew, Chuck, that while the things he said are hurtful to your community and there's a real history of oppression and death, when you see that Sensori chick walking out in a thong back and a see-through top, you as a Jew must admit all is forgiven.
I forgive him 100%
right.
for that.
Yes. I thought even you of the tribe would admit that.
Yeah, but do you forgive him for what he said on Twitter?
All right. Good news. Neal McDonough, the actor who's been in everything. I mean, Minority Report, Captain America, Walking Tall, the remake. That was a good one. All of it. We'll talk to him right after this. Quo, nothing worse than missing a business opportunity because of poor communication. In 2026, your team needs communication that actually works, and that's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the smarter way to run your business communications. Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2. Quo works where you are, on your phone or your computer. Your entire team can handle calls and texts from one shared number. It's a smart system. Quo's AI automatically logs calls generates summaries, and highlights next steps so nothing gets lost. It's Quo, right, Dawson?
Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free. Plus, get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/Adam. That's QUO.com/Adam. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers.
Pluto TV has thousands of free movies and TV shows.
What? This is the mindset. Free. This is the mantra. Free. This is the mindset.
With movies like Joe Dirt, Pixels, and 50 First Dates. This is awesome. And TV shows like Survivor, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Fairly Odd Parents, and Ghosts. Pluto TV is always free. Huzzah! Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
You're welcome.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam. Congratulations on your upcoming star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Question I have is, how would your parents have reacted to you getting the star? Keep it up.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
My mom would have made a noise and then quickly changed the subject. So if I said, Mom, I got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, she'd go, okay. Dorothy Gravitch is writing another children's book. Isn't that awesome? And then we'd talk about Dorothy Gravitch and her children's book. Neal McDonough is our guest. He's been in every movie and has no signs of slowing down. The new movie, Twisted. So it'll be available February 6th to buy or rent on digital. Horror, but psychological horror. Very interesting. I'm also Jaimin Hanzu, I hope I'm saying that right, who
nailed it.
People know from Gladiator, and I probably sadly know more from the Fast and Furious 9 or whatever he played the heavy in, and that. But another big, bold actor is in it as well. Neal is Minority Report and Captain America, Walking Tall, and all that. You know him from everything. Good to see you again, my friend.
Good seeing you too, pal. How you been? Life's good? Congratulations, by the way. Walk of Fame.
Yeah, for transparency, you have to put in like an application, which I, of course, would never do in 10,000 million lifetimes. But a good friend of mine said, you should have one for radio. And I said, okay. And he said, I'm going to do it. And he did it. Matt D'Andrea went and put the application in and lobbied them and said, this guy should have one for radio, which I realize is going to be confusing for future generations. And they're probably going to think it's podcasting, but it has the microphone and it's for radio. So,
but Adam, for all you've done for entertainment for so long, I am shocked actually that you haven't had one already years ago. I mean, the hours you've entertained all of us for so many years, come on, that's kind of a no-brainer, I would think.
Well, you're sweet and from your mouth to God's ears, because it ended up working out. And I always smile when I think about you, Neal, because I just think about faith and family and like hard work and diet and exercise, and it's so simple. Life is really basic. People don't want to do it. I always just say diet and exercise, and they mean you're talking about weight loss. I mean, no, I'm not talking about weight loss. I'm just talking about life. Those are the rules of life: diet and exercise. Now apply that to school, family, education, being a neighbor, being a citizen, everything. It's just diet and exercise, and there are no shortcuts. But you'll be happy if you do it, and it'll all work out magically in this country. And all people want to do is argue, but that I feel like all your life is diet and exercise. And again, I don't mean calories.
Right. My dad, who came off the boat from Ireland, I told you before, with $12 in his pocket and said, make me an American. So he went into the Army office and they shipped him overseas for 7 years. He lived till 91. He did 3 miles every day. He ate really well. He didn't smoke cigarettes, didn't drink coffee. He had a good 3 or 4 gin and tonics every night. But, that was his thing. But he was the healthiest dude that I know, and that rubbed off on me and my siblings. And here I'm turning 60 in a couple of days, and I certainly don't feel it. exercising every day. And again, it's not counting calories, not doing all that stuff. I mean, the protein company that I have, Flip My Life, has certainly helped, but it's simple. Discipline. Just get up and do it.
Discipline. And yes, and I mean, when I say diet and exercise, I mean it literally, and then I also mean it metaphorically. Like there's a version of that with your kids, spend time, quality time. Don't sit and watch TV together. Go out and throw the ball around. Real basic stuff. Camp, fish, hunt, go outdoors, hike, break a sweat, ride a mountain bike.
It's so fast. My oldest son now, he's in college. My oldest daughter, she's in college. They're both playing sports in college, which is fantastic. And, all of our kids, I think sports has been such a huge thing in the McDonough household, just again, to create discipline and to be together and play ball outside and play basketball or play, golf or football or whatever the case is. As long as we're always playing as a group, we're having fun too. And as the years pass, we've enjoyed those years that we've had together because they go by so quickly. So again, it's the discipline of just going and doing it and getting off your phones, getting off of your computers. My wife, Reve, is a beast. She is, if she sees a kid on the phone or me on the phone for very long, she's like, outside, basketball, go do something.
Wow.
Go ride a bike ride, go do anything. And Reve is just such a great leader in our household. And I'm so stinking blessed to have her in my life.
You do something I'm envious of, and I appreciate it. And I was literally thinking about it this morning. It's like you have such reverence for your wife, and you also sort of speak it out loud all the time, which I think is really important. And I think some people get into this sort of gripe department with, oh, God, the old lady's bugging me again, or whatever. I do it. Every comedian does it. Every human being does it. But that the appreciation and respect you have for your wife is admirable and leads to, it is a form of diet and exercise once again. It's good business. It keeps you happy. It keeps her happy. And I also realize as I turn on the news and I see everyone's in the streets in Minneapolis and they're screaming and they're throwing stuff at ICE officers and they're piling up trash cans to try to make a barricade or something, and shoving shopping carts, trying to make a makeshift border wall in the middle of Minneapolis. I also realize none of these people have hobbies, real hobbies, like old school, build a ship in a bottle, build a downhill coaster cart with your son, like old school hobbies.
Looks on the phone, looking at other people having these hobbies, and say, well, isn't that great they have those hobbies? Well, then get off your phone and create hobbies for yourself.
I am telling you, people, having a hobby and having some engagement keeps you out of so much trouble, because all your free time is spent when you have a serious endeavor, a serious hobby. I like building things. I like building projects, and I like racing cars. So when I have free moments, that's where all my focus goes, into fixing something, building something. And no hobbies, no focus, no project, no muse. It just translates into sort of stagnation, anger, and let's go in the street and scream at somebody.
Well, Reve and I have been really, about 3 or 4 years ago, I got down on one knee and I said, honey, will you manage me? And, ever since that time of Reve managing my career, we read every script together. We go through every decision together. We're about to produce our 12th film in the last 5 years. And it's, that's a pretty great hobby. And in this hobby, our kids are also part of it too. They'll be either acting in it or working in the stunt department or working craft service or working things. So it's really a McDonough family business. And they see how hard it is to make a movie, but they love it. Our oldest daughter, Catherine, is off studying film in college. Our oldest son, Morgan, is studying film in college. So I think they see mom and dad, working so hard together, creating so much great stuff in our content. Most of our content gives glory to him. Not all of it, but, I know a lot of people love to see me as the bad guy in film. So I keep on, as an artist, I like trying different things, and I want to do the exact same thing all the time. But for our films that say the McDonough Company on them, Last Rodeo did so well, and Homestead and Shift and all these other films that we've done with Angel Studios, the incredible Angel Studios. We've just been in this really great groove and fantastic spot that, off to do the Angel and the Bad Men right now with Zach Levi and Tommy Lee Jones. And then the Western that I wrote, The Wicked and the Righteous, we start in this summer. So the hobbies in our house are, hobbies for Reve and I are working on our career, sure. But our biggest hobby by a long shot is giving time to our children, giving them all the support that they need in school and in studies and sports and dance and theater and whatever they're doing, whatever they love doing, we give all, everything that we have to support everything that they want to do so their dreams can come true. It's pretty awesome.
The experience that I realize that people need and that I know they don't get is the beginning, middle, end, which you get when you're making films. You get that process in dump truck loads. The lesson of the beginning. I have an idea. Let's write that idea. Let's work that idea. Let's organize the idea. You shoot the idea, edit the idea, and then go out and promote the idea. And then it ends, and then you start it again. And the beginning, middle, end part of life has been stripped away from a lot of people. It's like one long middle for them, just one job, working for the government, going to the same place. You get really hopeless when you're in the middle. And by the way, restoring an old car is a beginning, middle, end endeavor. Building an addition on your house is a beginning, middle, end. The more beginning, middle, ends you can have. Writing a book is beginning, middle, end. Making a documentary, beginning, middle. It's the more of those you can have.
I never really thought of it that way, but you're right. You're absolutely right. The more you can have all three of those, that's a great life.
It is, because the middle is long and it's stagnant and it's frustrating and it's just sort of the same and it's monotonous, and people have trouble with it. Like you could hike the John Muir Trail. It would have a beginning, it would have a middle, and it would have an end, and the people that are super successful do that all the time.
That's right.
They go, I have an idea, and then they just go do it. And
that's right.
Versus, I have no idea how to do anything because I've never done the beginning, middle, end process. And it's really important, and it never really gets discussed. And it can be done is as simple as an endeavor of building a tree house with your son. You look at the tree and you go, we should do, and then you go plan it out, and then you go to the Home Depot, and at some point you stand back and you look at it and it's done, and it does something that you don't know about. It's invisible, but it's super important.
It's so important. And we try to, do is I keep saying it. The more time you spend with your kids, the quality time you spend with your kids, you will never regret 1 second of it. Not 1 second of it. And it's not always easy. It's hard at times. We've got 5 kids and their schedules and emotions and this and that. One's having a great day and one's not having a great day. How do you stay calm as a parent and not get upset or it's a lot of work. But if you're willing to put in the work, what is better than being a great parent? And a great husband? Those are the two things that I live for. I love doing movies. Don't get me wrong. I love doing TV shows. I love entertaining people. It's fantastic. But it pales in comparison to how much I love my family and God. Those are the things that always get me going off doing speeches for the church. And I did one this week. I'm doing one again this weekend. It's important to me. It's important to tell people that, I started with nothing from this little small town in Massachusetts, and I came out here with knowing no one, with a bucket of dreams. And it took a while. And after 10 years, it started to go. After 20 years, it really started to crank. Now 30 years into it, it's really going very, very well. But it was hard work and perseverance and determination and not taking no for an answer. Or if you get a no, you have to think, okay, instead of getting emotional about it, well, why did they say no to me on this project? What can I do better? How can I readjust? How can I recalibrate what I'm doing? How can my release point go from here to up here, or whatever the case is? You have to do that work, and you can't take it personal. And the less you take it personal, the more you keep working towards your goals, knowing for me that God has my back, that everything I do, I try to make God happy in all my work. It just takes kind of the pressure off a little bit, and it just makes things a lot easier because I'm not trying to impress anybody. The only person I'm trying to impress is him. That's it. And for me, if I'm doing the right things, I'm making my wife happy, my kids happy. It's working thus far, and I'm so stupid blessed to be where I am right now on the Adam Carolla Show talking about my life. It's kind of funny.
Well, I often wonder out loud, and maybe it's a little cathartic, but I wonder why people play so fast and loose with how their kids think of them. meaning if somebody, like someone will go, "How was your mom, Adam?" And I'll go, "I don't know." She was nice, I guess. I don't know. She didn't really care. I would die if my kids, if somebody said to my son, how was your dad, Adam? He kind of looked after himself, I guess.
It would be painful.
He liked sub sandwiches, and I don't know. It's like I would
that alone.
It would be so painful to just have them both kind of go. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a murderer, I guess. I could say that about him. He didn't do anything. I oftentimes think of that because it's like, it's weird. Like if I have coffee with my sister, it'll be like, well, Mom. She'll go like, yeah. And I go like, Dad. It's like,
right.
Why?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's part of being selfish is really not caring what people think, but it is weird as a parent to really know that your kids are not impressed, they're not fans, they're not going to say anything good about you, and you're okay with that. And that's weird because it would bother the hell out of you, right?
But I think it's different generations too. I don't think that
yes,
my parents or their parents were so. I mean, how many times did my dad go to one of my ball games?
Right.
Now, if I'm in town, there's no way I'm missing one of my kids' games or a dance recital or theater or whatever the case is.
Right.
And so I think it's a different time. My dad was at the Elks Lodge or the Knights of Columbus on any given night and talking politics and talking stuff with the guys and having a few drinks. That's just a different time.
What was your dad's profession?
We owned a small mom and pop motel on Cape Cod. That's how I grew up.
Wow.
And it was great. So from the time I was a little kid till, I was 24 years old before I left for Hollywood, I worked the motel every year and I loved it. It was, it was one of those childhoods where we had a lake and we had, 40 rooms in the motel and we had a little coffee shop and it was always there. I was always working it. I didn't know any better, but that created such discipline. And, if I was sitting around, my dad would make me do something immediately. My mom would make me do something immediately. And I think that work ethic was driven so heavily into me that I picked the dumbest career you could possibly think of to be successful at. I mean, what are the odds of a kid from Hyannis, Massachusetts being in 150 movies and 1,000 hours of television? The odds are so against me. And when I think about it now, I think, wow, I should have probably done something a little bit safer, but I just didn't know safer. All I knew was I had a goal. I had really good work ethic, and I know God has my back. What's going to stop me? And I've just kind of hit the tackling sled for so long that I don't know any better. It's the only job I've ever really had. And I love entertaining people. I love making movies that make people think and to do it alongside my wife, Reve, and the amazing Angel Studios. Now we have a first look deal with Angel Studios. It's just kind of, it's hard to put into words how fortunate I am to be where I am right now in my life after going through a lot of stuff, the ups and downs and, alcohol and, the certain things that happened in my life with jobs that were taken away from me. But now here I am realizing all those things, all those speed bumps created who exactly I am. And if it weren't for those speed bumps, if it weren't for those little problems, I wouldn't be here right now on your show talking about all the things that I've got going. And I realize that, but it takes, again, it's the discipline and sitting by yourself at times in a church all by yourself and just talking to them or talking to yourself and thinking, okay, how can I make the world a better place? As corny as that sounds, while I'm here for the short amount, say I'm here for 100 years, what can I pound into these 100 years to make the world a better place for him? Because he has given me so much that my job is just to keep giving back. And I love the position that I'm in right now. I love where Reve and I are and the films we're writing and producing. And I feel like we're just starting.
Pluto TV has thousands of free movies and TV shows.
What? This is the mindset. Free. This is the mantra. Free. This is the mindset.
With movies like Joe Dirt, Pixels, and 50 First Dates. This is awesome. And TV shows like Survivor, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Fairly Odd Parents, and Ghosts. Pluto TV is always free. Huzzah! Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
You're welcome. Where are we at? And I would say there was a time in this business where probably the bottom was probably about 8 years ago, or maybe it was COVID, where if you had any thoughts that went against COVID or some of the protocols of COVID, or any thoughts about Trump that were positive, or anything that just veered at all from what the sort of prescribed narrative was for how you should vote and how you should think and what you should do with COVID protocols, and here's how you should feel about Trump, and here's how you should feel about the border. Like, it was very rigid. And if you got outside of that lane at all, you're immediately punished by Hollywood. And it was tough sledding several years ago. And then what happened is kind of what always happens. A cottage industry is born from people that have been displaced and banished. You know, my first improv troupe, the Acme Improv Troupe, was comprised of people who'd been let go by the Groundlings. So we ended up having another improv troupe called Acme because a bunch of people got rejected from the Groundlings, and we all found ourselves in the same place.
That's great.
Wanting to start our own troupe. And
Right.
we did. And so that was created. But first we had to be pushed out of the Groundlings in order to create Acme. And there's lots of those stories. And I feel like Angel Studios and you and the work that you do, and me to a certain extent, or even your Joe Rogans of the world and these people, were sort of created by this. And now it's halcyon days for those who were punished initially for these thought crimes. But your thoughts?
Well, I'm not a political guy. You know, as Reve, says, I'm a God-fearing American, and that's kind of where I am. And for me, as horrible and as atrocious as COVID was, there's a big chunk of me that misses the heck out of it, because there I was at home in our place in Canada where we lived for 7 years doing all those TV shows up there. You know, in our house for months at a time, having 3 meals a day with our kids, 3 prayers a day, playing stickball in the backyard, playing any game that we could possibly imagine, staying off our devices, having movie nights, getting dressed up in suit and ties for dinner, all those things that we did. It was just this great time. And during that time, in all that spare time, I thought, okay, well, who knows what's going to happen after COVID? I'm not sure if I'll have a career when this is over. You know, I had such a speed bump earlier. They may just, what am I going to do? And I ran to this one guy, Derek Presley, God bless his soul, who came to me and said, I want you to be in this little film. It's a $350,000 budget. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And we did it. And halfway through the film, I was like, I love this character, and I love your directing. I love your writing. I'm going to write with you part 2 to this. And then we did Boone. And then from there, Reve and I, went from film to film to film, but from $350,000 to 1.5 to 2 to 3 to 3 to 5 to 7 to 8 to 10, now to 14. And all because of COVID, because it made me really think, okay, once this is over, am I still going to be allowed into the game? Am I still going to be able to play on shows? And what's going on? Well, if you take the bull by the horn and you really kind of create for the future, well, what do you have to lose? And that's what we did. And then I started writing and writing and writing and writing. And COVID to me, as horrible as it was, and friends that we've lost, for me personally, it was such a different type of time of creativity that I wouldn't be here if it weren't for COVID. In that time that I had with my kids, now when I write things, it's always kind of about my family or the passion and the feelings that I have for family, and family first, me second, God first, me second. And that Angel Studios saw that early on and said, we'd like to pair up with you and Reve and start making some more films. And we have. And now we have more films after film coming up for Angel Studios. And to be in this position, Adam, I don't take it for granted. I really, it's the most humbling thing that's ever happened to me. And I just want to work harder and better for the fans out there to make sure I'm entertaining them and doing the right things for God. Pretty simple.
Yeah. It's funny you say I'm not political, but I'm a God-fearing American. But in this Hollywood, when they hear God-fearing American, it turns political because they go, oh, okay. I know
they're always
doing.
Trying to have conversations with me about politics. I'm like, I'm purple. I'm a little red, little blue. I'm just not. I'm not really the political type of guy.
Well,
but I love him.
I'll ask you a non-political question then. Walking Tall, that was one of The Rock's earlier films, right?
We just saw Dwayne about 2-3 weeks ago, and I hadn't seen him since.
I mean, that's been 20 years now, right?
22 years? 2003 we shot that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a minute, and he was not, who he is today. But I was wondering, did you have, it was released in 2004. Yeah, it's been over 20 years. Did you have any inklings of who he might be one day?
Yeah, I did, because of his work ethic. He worked so hard. He was so prepared. I remember once, probably shouldn't tell this one, but I will anyway. We go way back at him. We can talk about these things. So there was a scene at the end of the film where he takes his big stick and he's got me and he just slams me to the ground. And the camera's right here, close up on him, and I'm right here. And just about he do the swing, he gets that and he does this. Director goes, cut. You're not the wrestler. You're Dwayne now. You got to tap in who Dwayne is. Okay, great.
Oh, he raised his eyebrow. For those listening, yes.
Action. Raise the eyebrow again. Director's getting upset. I can see Dwayne. It's like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. And he's getting really upset. And I said, hold on. I go over to the craft service table and I grab 3 or 4 packets of little ketchup and I squeeze them in my mouth. I go back to the director. I'm like, okay, great. And action. And I spit the ketchup on his face. The look on Dwayne's face, I literally thought I was probably going to die at that moment, but I had to save him. I had to go and snap him out of what he was, because here's an actor who trained for so long, from Syracuse through Lambda in London, thousands of hours on stage. And, and I've been in that position where you kind of freeze up and like, what do I do? I need to make a decision. Well, and I helped him that day. And then as soon as he hit me and they said, cut, and the director was like, that is perfect. It's fantastic. Dwayne walked away into the woods. And he came back 10 minutes later and he grabbed me and he gave me the hugest hug. He had tears in his eyes. He says, that was the bravest, coolest thing that anyone's ever done for me. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And to this day, we laugh about it. And that dude, I love Dwayne. I'm so proud of what he's accomplished in his career. That guy works harder than anyone and deserves everything. He's a great family guy. I was really fortunate to be part of that film with him.
You just ran into him the other day?
Yeah, we were at what was it for variety party at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and Reve and I were there, and we bumped into him, and it was just really great hanging out for a bit and catching up.
Is Reve 6'3"?
She certainly is. Worth the climb every time. That's what I think.
I mean, it's a world-class athlete, right? I mean,
she's 6'3". Our oldest daughter, Catherine, playing basketball and volleyball in Boston. She's 6'3". Our freshman daughter is 6'2". Our son is almost 6'6". So she creates very large, fantastic specimens, and I'm just fortunate. I'm 6 foot. I used to be 6'1". I'm probably closer to 6 feet now. But I'm a shrimp in the family. Everyone's towering over me now, all because of that beautiful Dutch blood that she brought into this family.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, I don't want to sound.
You just peek your head into the room. She goes, "You're crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm crazy about you, honey." There you go.
No, I mean, your kids. I mean, with Reve as a mother with that kind of gene pool and lineage, I mean, you're just going to have some crazy athletic kids.
Well, and it's, for her to be there and bring up the 5 kids as any great mother does, and to be scheduling everything for them. Then they're scheduling everything for my career. Then they're scheduling everything for the movies that we're producing. I don't know how she does it. I'm terrible with a computer. I'm awful with emails and texts. I'm not a very good communicator. But she says, honey, you've got one thing. Man, you can act. Keep doing that thing you've got and do it the best that you can. And she allows me to be the creative guy that I am. If I'm home just playing music or I'm doing whatever, she allows me to be that creative guy that I truly am. That's what I love to do, to create things.
Yeah.
I'm so fortunate to have that as my touchstone in my life.
I do want to say this to everybody in a relationship. If somebody has a gift, especially if it can earn money and or some weaknesses, spend a little less time trying to bend them into the shape of the weakness thing where you get them to do, get them to do something. I used to tell my ex-wife all the time, I'd go, we'd be arguing about nothing and something. I'd go, you don't want me doing this. You want me earning. Like, you want me writing a book. You want me selling out a show. You want me out earning, not arguing over where the cable guy is and how come he's not here. Like that. You should take advantage of my ability to do this stuff and literally free me up to do that. And it sounds like, and also just understand, I'm not good at that. But the good news is that can be done by people who don't get paid that much an hour, and I can do this other thing. Hi, Hervé, how are you?
Thank you. Neal always says, "No job, this cannot be done." Man, what is your saying?
My high school yearbook quote was, "Nothing is impossible to the man who doesn't have to do it himself." Thomas Jefferson.
That's right. But
there's a job for everyone. His job is on set and being a dad.
That's right.
I love that you love that, and I love, traditional thoughts. And it's sort of, you guys are, I don't want to say that you're biblically based, but that's a biblical idea. Like, let this guy do what he does, and good news, he's going to provide. And that's good. And I hate that
I just want to say hi. I love you so much. Thank you for your lovely compliment.
Sure, it's all.
I'm going to go to school now. I'm going to go do the mother duty.
Do the mother duty. I hate that we've drifted away from that, or we looked at the person that brings home the bacon is good, and the one who fries it up in the pan is lesser than, or something. I hate it. It's all roles.
Everything just seems so much clearer, a couple generations ago. I think everything's just been kind of, the hunter-gatherer man and the maternal mom ideas have kind of been pushed aside somehow, and it's a shame, because there are many things that men are just terrible at, really terrible, and vice versa, right? So I don't know. When it comes, this is all I know. I'm old school, and it works for me, and it works for Hervé, and it works for the kids, and we're very happy. And again, it isn't about religion. There's one God. I don't care if you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, agnostic, Buddhist. There's one Creator, and we should all be rooting for each other and love each other, and not think that one thought is better than somebody else's thought, or one religious guy is better than someone. It just gets all muddled. If you go down to what life is, God gave us all of this to enjoy it, not to fight over it. It's to share it and love each other. That's kind of what
a great note to go out on. Twisted's the name of the movie. February 6th. Available, rent or on digital.
Neal is so good in this movie.
He's great. I saw the trailer. He's amazing.
Awesome.
Neal, always great catching up with you. Let's do it real soon. Always makes my day. Neal McDonough, everyone. Thank you so much, my friend. All right. I can be found at Rodney's coming up doing a live podcast. That'll be Thursday. And then Washington, D.C., doing a couple shows there at the Kennedy Center. Late show. Still some tickets left to that. Low on the first. You can go to AdamCarolla.com for all of that. Until next time, this is Adam from Mayhem. And Neal McDonough saying, mahalo.